you want to be great, not average, not comfortable, not good enough, pain is coming. Not because you're unlucky, not because life is unfair to you, but because growth demands it. Everyone talks about winning. Everyone talks about success. Everyone talks about becoming something more. But nobody talks about what it costs. Pain isn't pretty. Pain isn't motivating. Pain doesn't look good on social media. Pain is waking up tired and still showing up. Pain is working when your body says stop. Pain is choosing discipline when comfort is right there. Pain is saying no to the easy life everyone else accepts. You don't get to choose whether pain comes. You only choose when and why. Either pain comes from growth or pain comes from regret. Either pain comes from discipline or pain comes from staying weak. There is no path without suffering. There is no version of greatness without discomfort. There is no winning without sacrifice. If you want more from life, life will ask more from you, and it won't ask politely. Pain exists for one reason: to force growth. Nothing grows in comfort. Nothing sharpens without pressure. Nothing strong is built without resistance. Your muscles don't grow because it feels good. They grow because you tear them down. Your mind doesn't become disciplined because life is easy. It becomes disciplined because you stay when quitting feels better. Pain is not punishment. Pain is information. It tells you where you're weak. It tells you what needs work. It tells you you've reached the edge of who you were, and now you're being pushed into who you could become. That's why pain always shows up right before a breakthrough, right before you level up, right before you outgrow your old self, right before you separate from the person you used to be. Most people feel pain and assume something is wrong. They think, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not built for this. Maybe I should slow down. No, pain doesn't mean stop. Pain means adapt. Pain means you're entering unfamiliar territory. Pain means you're doing something most people avoid. Pain means you're no longer living on autopilot. And that's exactly why so many people run from it. Because pain demands responsibility. It demands effort. It demands that you confront your limits instead of hiding from them. But the people who win, they don't complain about pain. They learn from it. They respect it. They use it. They understand that pain is temporary, but the strength it builds is permanent. You can either let pain scare you back into comfort, or you can let it shape you into someone unrecognizable. That choice defines everything. People think success is built on motivation, on talent, on luck, on having the right opportunity. They think the people who win just wanted it more, or were born different, or had it easier. That's not the truth. Success is built on suffering most people are unwilling to endure. What you don't see is the weight behind the results, the pain behind the confidence, the discipline behind the freedom. You see the body, not the years of training. You see the business, not the sleepless nights. You see the calm, not the anxiety they learned to control. You see the win, not the thousands of moments they wanted to quit. Pain doesn't disappear when you succeed. It just changes form. Early on, pain is physical. You're tired. You're uncomfortable. You feel behind. Later, pain becomes mental. Pressure, responsibility, fear of losing what you built. But the pain never leaves. And that's the part nobody warns you about. People want the reward without the wait. They want the title without the test. They want the glow without the grind. So the moment it hurts, they stop. They tell themselves, I'll do it tomorrow. I need a break. I'm burned out. It shouldn't be this hard, but it should be hard. If it was easy, everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, it wouldn't be worth anything. Pain is the filter. It separates the serious from the casual, the committed from the curious, the builders from the talkers. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they weren't willing to hurt long enough. They weren't willing to sit in discomfort. They weren't weren't willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure. They weren't willing to endure the phase where progress is invisible. There's always a phase like that. A long stretch where you're working and nothing seems to change. Where effort isn't rewarded yet. Where doubt gets loud. That phase is painful. And it's also where most people disappear. Not because they can't continue, but because they won't. They mistake pain for a signal to quit, instead of recognizing it as proof they're on the right path. Pain isn't telling you to stop. Pain is asking you one question: how bad do you want this? Every time you do something hard, you're telling yourself, I keep my word. I don't quit on myself. I can be trusted. And that trust compounds. It changes how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you move through the world. You stop needing external validation. You stop needing motivation speeches. You stop needing reminders. You've already proven something to yourself, that you can endure. And when pain shows up, as it always will, you don't panic. You smile, because you know what it means. You're growing. Pain will come. No matter who you are, no matter what you want, no matter how prepared you think you are. But understand this, pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher.